So, you know, a lot of the work that Oracle has done is, well, a lot of it's geared around speeding up the Oracle database. That's not necessarily a driving factor for you know, everybody else. It is a driving factor for some of the other, you know, implementations. But yeah,
there's this kind of this space where different distributions of ZFS work even on the same sort of platform. So you got people like Delphix who are sort of designed to speed up databases and serve up databases, and then you got Nexenta, which is much more of a general purpose storage backend and VM backend. And so there's going to be divergent sort of requirements. So there's still a space for these different sort of forks or downstream repositories to exist. The OpenZFS code base is more of a common denominator, everything for everybody, and then everybody else can just customize the thing to their requirements. So what you're seeing in OpenZFS is more of a thing that everybody agrees, like, this is a good idea. It's good to have it for everybody.
Did I misunderstand at the beginning you said about the flags, you know, like you know, the compression routine and stuff like that?
feature flags.
Feature flags, thank you. So that's just a feature flag with no sort of plan to say, oh, let's try and make some of the code modular. So, as you say, some company can go off and say, okay, we will rewrite our compression routine because that's what we want. We don't like your. Anyway, that can be done in a modular thing, or is it just a feature flag, as in just a flag?
Yeah, I mean, suppose if somebody wants to, you know, somebody decides they wants to do run length encoded in compression, for example, they can add that, and they.
So therefore, it can still be under the OpenZFS thing, but it says, oh, we like this because we do appliance, that's all we care about, which is great for our feature, but it won't be great for. So without using the word forking, but modular based.
It's up to them if they contribute that back. I mean, obviously there are issues with CDL license and what you're expected to do with it. And generally speaking, the only person you hurt by not contributing it back is yourself, because you're then in a maintenance nightmare. So, but yeah.
There's, if I may add a thing to that. There's a number of downstream features that are not, sort of speaking generally about Lumos, not just ZFS. There's a number of downstream features that are used by some distributions that are not upstream. One is, I think, KVM support. So Joyent and OpenIndiana and maybe OmniOS have KVM support, so they can run sort of fully hardware virtualized VMs. But it's not inside of the Lumos code base, because not everybody who participates in Lumos has agreed to that being a good feature that should go back. Or another possibility is nobody's actually spent the amount of time to do the full reviews and go through the whole process. But yeah, there's.
And actually, that's an issue for a lot of the stuff going back into Lumos. I mean, all of those companies have done. I can't remember if it's Joyent or Delphix, but one of them I remember saying they've got 1,000 bug fixes they were trying to, you know, get back into OpenSolaris. It actually takes a hell of a long time to get those. I mean, it takes longer to get those back into another code base than it did to do them in the first place. It's, you know, I don't know if Delphix and Joyent have actually finished getting all their stuff into Lumos that they've done, that they intend to put into Lumos, but it may well be that they haven't yet. And certainly that's the case with us at Nexenta. It just takes a long time to get that fed back up. It hurts us not having fed it back up, so you know there's a good motive to do that.
But fortunately, since most of it's open source and since it's happened in the kernel, these guys have published their source repo, so anybody can come along and just do the backport if they want to, if they're so inclined.
Yeah.
Do you think the major commercial Linux providers will pick up OpenZFS and eventually release it as part of the products?
Well, Debian sort of got it there. I mean, different people, I'm not going to talk about licensing because I'm not a lawyer, but different people have different views of what the licensing means with the CDDL and Linux's problems with kind of using it. Doesn't seem to stop some of the distributions from doing that.
What about Oracle themselves when they offer an enterprise Linux?
It's up to Oracle. I mean, Oracle, of course, have got BTRFS, which is their own, if you like, competitive product to it. So, as far as I'm aware, Oracle are pushing BTRFS very hard. So I think
likely that BTRFS will be pulled by mainstream Linux purely because of the licensing.
Yeah.
It's part of the kernel. Historically, any feature that gets into a kernel there's a lot better support from the community, and over time it's getting way ahead of everything else, and the KVM versus Zen is a prime example of getting into the head now with Linux in Linux and getting support from the Linux big guys like Red Hat and guys who actually contribute means if you get a lot more testing, you get a lot more support from the community, and there's also a number of Linux projects that will not touch it unless it's GPL, it's in the Linux kernel.
So it's all to do with the licensing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if it had been a GPL license,
Well,
I think Linux folks will have
Yeah,
rushed for it.
yeah, if it was GPL,
Yeah.
the VTR has a probably really hard time going through, but because it's not.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, Oracle is the copyright holder here. So if they wanted to, they could relicense ZFS tomorrow, their implementation. And they'd have to probably rip out of I don't think there's any contributions that are not copyright owned by them.
Like, well,
Yeah, because some back in the day when you wanted to contribute back to the ZFS code base, you have to assign copyright. That means that they're the sole copyright holder that can be licensed anything.
does mean that they could potentially stop the whole OpenZFS anytime they want.
No,
No.
that cat's out of the bag now, so there's no way you cannot. They cannot really sort of go back on their original promise. But what it can do is that they can take their current, which is proprietary ZFS implementation, relicense it and release it as GPL tomorrow if they wanted to.
Or MIT or whatever they like, because they own it. They can
Yeah,
do whatever they like with the license.
And change it to BSD license any day. Any day. When you're the copyright holder, you're not limited by your own license.
Going to mention that there is a ZFS standard implementation as part of NetBSD as well.
Okay.
It's been for quite some time, but it's not complete.
So I
Generally
have
ties
seen
in the law.
Yeah, I have seen it mentioned. It was mentioned at one of the original OpenZFS meetings, but I think that none of the people there knew who the right contact was.
That's right. It's not a priority.
Yeah.
That's my because I follow current, basically build overnight, and a couple of times a month I assign some disk and do some tests. It generally dies on the law fairly easily, and it's known. The problems are known, but they're just not high in the priority list.
Yeah.
And there aren't that many developers anyway, and NetBSD follows slightly different model from FreeBSD. Obviously, FreeBSD has got much higher copyright support than NetBSD.
Any more for any more?
Any more questions? No. Thank you, Andrew.
Okay.